Bingo Blitz rules.
If your bingo has ads in it,
That's not a bingo.
if it doesn't have the coolest tournaments, mini games, and the most breathtaking design,
Nope, not a bingo.
if your bingo moment makes you feel so excited that you just want to burst in joy and scream out loud, bingo! Sorry, so you're playing...
Bingo Blitz? Now that's a bingo. Go for a world of excitement with Bingo Blitz, the #1 free bingo game. Download Bingo Blitz and play for free.
Now that's a bingo.
You've been busy. So many things to do, running around from this place to that. So make sure you finish in a better place and unplug, unbox, and unwind with the Lego set. Because when you build with Lego bricks, the fun and satisfying click-clack of creating your masterpiece emotionally transports you to somewhere where a hectic day just melts away. Build your happy place. Lego. Adults welcome.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Don't Blame Me.
Yeah.
Starring
Wow.
Megan and Melissa. We're dancing. So sorry for anyone who's just listening to the audio. Oh, Melissa's shaking them titties.
They actually can't see it even if they're looking at video because it cuts off. But you saw it.
I'm
it was
shaking
just for you.
Thank you so much. I really
You're
appreciated
welcome.
it. If you are new here, welcome. We are an advice podcast where we have listeners call in, leave us a voicemail, and then we give our life-changing, amazing, fantastic, stunning, smart, never been done before, throw it in a blender, eat it, shit it out advice. I need to learn the whole thing. I need to learn, you know what the reference is,
Yes.
right? Yeah. There are two things I need to memorize. I need to memorize that word for word, and I need to memorize Trisha Paytas's apology to Philip DeFranco for calling him fat. And those are the two things I need to
I have not
memorize.
seen the latter.
I'm sorry. What? Where she literally says, Philip DeFranco, God, I know like a lot of it. I'm sorry that I called you fat. I was holding a grudge from that time in 2014 when so this whole thing, it's like she hates Philip DeFranco. And it's like, why does she hate Philip DeFranco? And like her co-host Ethan, this is on the Frenemies podcast. Her co-host Ethan is constantly being like, why do you hate Philip DeFranco? Like, what is this? Like, what is this? And she was like, blah, 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 don't like him, don't like him, don't like him. And so us as the audience and Ethan have no idea why there's like all this animosity there. She then calls him, she technically doesn't call, I'm not going to like get into the semantics of it, but she then apologizes to him and then says, she goes, Philip DeFranco, I'm sorry for calling you fat. I was just holding a lot of animosity for that time in 2014 when your wife called me a whore. And everybody's like, oh my God, what? Like, this is why. And like, that makes sense. And then she's like, you are not fat. Like and then her previous apology from like a couple episodes ago, she goes, Philip DeFranco, like, I'm sorry I called you fat. Like, I haven't seen you in a while. Like, you might be less fat now.
Oh
like,
my
God,
gosh.
this is not an apology.
Wow.
But then she goes like, and then she says, you are a skinny legend and I am like a fat cow. And then he changed his Twitter name to Philip the Skinny Legend DeFranco. And I need to memorize that whole apology because it is iconic and so quick.
Interesting.
So that's my homework for myself.
Okay.
I should tell you the number to call in if you need some life-changing, amazing advice. It's 310-694-0976. And international listeners, you can record an audio message on your phone and send it to us on our email, meghanpodcast@gmail.com. We ask that you are 18 or over, have your parents' permission. You let us know your pronouns in the call. You give as much detail as possible. Write it down, read it out, practice, because you got to keep it under 3 minutes or you will be cut off. And yeah, your hair looks great today. This is another plug to watch the video on Patreon.
You can't
Is there
see
something
it
in your hair?
because it looks black. No, I have a gray hair right here.
Shut up.
And the people in the Patreon video will be able to see it.
What? Oh,
You see it a little
no,
bit?
I see your fingernail. I was like, that's a chunk,
Right.
Stacey Landon.
No, right there. Look.
I do.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Is it a different?
Slowly becoming a witch.
This might be a very ignorant question, but you know how gray hairs have like a different kind of texture?
It is a different texture. Yeah.
I looked it up because Mott's has some in his beard and they're like a very different texture. And I wasn't sure if it was the same.
It feels kind of plasticky.
Right? Yeah.
Well, there we are.
I mean, you still, like, you are not old by any means. And if we want to go based on, like, also, like, your age, you're not old. But also, like, you don't even look your age, which is also not an old age. Yep. Like, you're set.
I'm good.
I've also seen your entire family, and I'm like, yeah, you're never going to look old. You're never going to. Yeah. I, on the other hand, every time I do that old age filter on TikTok, I'm just reminded of...
I feel like you've looked the same age for like the last 10 years.
Thank you.
Even though I didn't know you 10 years ago, but I feel like you've looked, as long as I've known you, you've looked the same.
That is the nicest thing.
You've got that like thing like, what's her name?
Margot Robbie.
Yeah.
She's looked the same since she was 16. I do think I look at myself in the mirror and I don't see like a massive difference.
I mean, the nose, of course.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, but like since I got my nose done, I don't see like a huge difference in my looks. But then I always wonder, I'm like, oh, is this going to be like, I'm going to be that old woman who like thinks that at like 78 and I'm like still like dressing and wearing the same stuff that I am.
And you should.
I should. I definitely should. But, you know.
Wear whatever the fuck you want to wear.
Oh, I will. I plan on being. Oh my God.
Speaking on wearing things. I had commented on a friend's video, Instagram post about something, blah, blah, blah. And then somebody liked my thing. And I was like, who is this? I went to her page and she makes
your pajamas,
custom outdoor pajamas, like custom, like you have to send her your measurements and she makes the bra so I can wear it open. It like everyone just be prepared. And it's not expensive. It's like $70.
Shut up.
For the whole set, bra, little throw, whatever you call it, and the pants. Just be ready.
Holy shit. I love it. We're going to get back to eventually filming in person together, and you're just going to be there with like, because you're not, I'm doubting you're going to get into drinking, but maybe you'll put, do you like kombucha?
I do like
You'd put a kombucha or a La Croix in like a martini glass, and you're like in your like that whole pajamas thing. And it's like, this is like how we each come out of quarantine. You come out of quarantine like that, like a literal rich housewife who like just murdered her husband. And I am going to come in no makeup, sweatpants. Like I haven't showered in a week and a half. And it's like, this is how we each, the things that stay with us.
Guys, just get ready. Hot girl summer is coming since we couldn't have a full hot girl summer last year.
Oh, Sydney literally has been like bullying her sister and I, being like, you guys need to get your eye on the prize. It's a hot girl summer. I need us to plan things out. Like, it's not an option. And Jerry and I are both like, I mean, you know, and she's like, no. Like, I need you to get your head in the fucking game. We're not fucking messing around. I was like, okay.
I am with Sydney.
There's
no fucking around.
I'm just dying.
Your birthday is like in there too.
I know. I was looking at Airbnbs like to see, because like ideally we'll all be vaccinated by August, and like
100% we will be.
Yeah, Mott sent me an article about like the CDC saying that you can travel once you've been fully vaxxed, like on a plane, and I was like, I don't know if I would feel comfortable.
I can't have that. Yeah, I'm the same way. I don't feel comfortable with that yet.
Well, I don't feel comfortable because I don't know that where I'm going everyone's been vaccinated.
Exactly. That's how I am
because
too.
It's not, and like that's the whole thing that every time I'm like talking about this or explaining to people, I'm like, yeah, I'm not necessarily so worried if I personally get sick, but like I don't want to go somewhere, especially if you're going somewhere like so many of these like vacation destinations are like locals, or technically it's more impoverished communities. I'm like, I don't want to go there and like potentially bring an asymptomatic or anything to any of that. So ideally, we were looking at places within California, and it would just be so nice. I'm going to lose my mind.
I'm going to lose my fucking mind. I have put aside a fund for me as soon as I'm vaccinated. I'm getting my nails done, getting my hair done, I'm getting lashes. It's going to be...
She's getting a Brazilian butt lift.
I'm getting a Brazilian wax for sure.
You're not going to try doing it yourself? You've been watching the TikTok videos on how to do it yourself?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. It's who's seen it? It's just been bushy.
I thought you meant that you were like shaving and miserable with it.
No,
just letting you grow.
I'm not. I get bumps, so I don't. I'm not. I haven't even been shaving, so it's just the same thing. Yeah, it's gonna be a wild time. Getting a massage. Oh, it's gonna be great.
I can't wait. I think I've shrunk 2 inches in the pandemic because of my posture. I'm not kidding.
Well, I'm constantly cracking my back because I need like a serious massage. So I think I'm good there. And also I'm already short, so it doesn't matter.
I mean, I needed to go to a chiropractor last spring when my Pilates instructor told me that my rib cage was out of place and I needed to go get that fixed because I was like, I thought I was just born like this. And they were like, no. And
I'm pretty sure I told you this.
You did. Both you and Lily. Both you and Lily have been like, yeah, your body is fucked up. Go get it fixed. Well.
All right. Well, let's get into the update.
Hell yeah.
I was on episode 24 with Jocelyn Davis. And in that video, I asked for advice for coming out to roommates. I was like a freshman in college. That was like 2018, very long time ago. And then you guys answered another call. That was season 5, episode 24. And that was advice about nursing school versus like the job I actually want because I'm type 1 diabetic and need good health insurance. So I have updates for both of them. All right. So for the first one, you guys were like, oh, your friends probably know. They definitely did. I was not.
Oh my God, that was our advice? What the fuck?
It was Jocelyn was like, well, to make you feel better, they probably already know. I was like, okay, which what it did. They're like, yeah, we kind of knew something was up. So
fucking shit.
Yeah, it didn't help. Like my roommates, I had my best friend from high school, lived in the same hall for me. And she was like, she knew I was gay. And she was like, are you going to tell your roommates? And I was like, let me wait and get the vibe. And she was like, I'll help you keep your secret. So we'd like the next day, she'd be like, yeah, Taylor, she made out with a guy at a party last night. And they were like, okay, well, it's college. Why do we care?
That's so funny.
And she'd like try to get their vibe. And she's like not a good actress. She'd be like, yeah, how do you guys feel about like gay people?
Gay people. Yeah. They're just like us. What do you think?
That's so funny.
Yeah. Like when I'd leave the room, she'd be like, I think they're going to be cool with it. And I'm like, okay, thank you so much for the support.
I love that.
Yeah. So yeah, they were fine with it. It was like no problems. I did, you guys, because they were my roommates, like gave advice to wait till after we moved out, which I did do, but I think they would have been fine, like either way. And then for the most recent episode, it was more advice about talking to my mom about like what I should do and stuff. And we had a conversation and she pretty much gave the same advice that you guys did. She was very proud of herself when I told her that you guys gave the same advice. That was like, try to get into nursing school so that you can have the health insurance and try to kind of do both. Because I was also nervous I wasn't going to get into nursing school because the programs I was applying to. Oh, wait, I do just want to clarify. I promise I was not a mean girl in high school.
Oh, because you're a mean nurse.
I promise I
got it.
Was a nerd, had like curly hair, I didn't know how to take care of, read and wrote fan fiction, like wasn't cool.
Oh my gosh,
did we live the same experience?
Yeah. So I just want to clarify that for people.
I mean, here's the thing. Like the nurse mean girl trope, I believe it. But then there are people who go like, you know, there are like the people who combat it and like who go in for good reasons and all of that. It's not like I don't have an ACAB feeling about nurses. It's more just like
all mean girls are nurses, but
I'm not an ANAB, but I'm like, you know, yeah, like all mean girls from high school are nurses, but not all nurses are mean girls from high school. Exactly. I
just want to clarify that. Yeah. So I did get into the nursing program. I started in May.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah. So that was pretty much my update.
Hell yes. Yeah. That's so exciting.
Yeah. I'm nervous but excited. And I was nervous I was gonna be like dreading it, but once I got in, I was very excited. And I've been excited like since then. So feeling pretty good about it.
I think a lot of the time our like nerves and like feeling like inadequate or like feeling like you're not going to get like that can manifest itself in so many different ways. And so then when you get in, it's like, oh, maybe I I don't have all of these hesitations. I was just like using the fact that I was worried I wasn't going to get in as like, well, maybe like I did that with fucking like regular college. I was like, I don't even want to go to college. I'm like, yeah, bitch, because you know you're not going to get in anywhere. And I was like, I don't even care. But you know, so like that is
like I think of that a lot.
I totally understand. Totally understand. I love when people have had like we always love when people have had like multiple calls who have been around for a while, but it's always it's always like the craziest to me, like when people who have called who've like come out before and it's like, oh yeah, this was like this many years ago. And I'm like, oh my God. Like that's because you have like a huge life thing, but then also like a years kind of thing that I'm like, we've been doing this for so long.
Yeah. I know. Yeah. Because that was my freshman year of college and now I'm a senior.
Wow.
Holy fuck.
Congratulations on everything. Also, we can add to our resume that we're mom approved. So great.
And she's also very excited that I was Zooming with you guys today.
Oh, wow.
Oh my God. Tell her hi for us. I love that. I have mommy issues. So that speaks volumes for me. Oh, that's amazing. Wow. Well, thank you so much. This was such a great update. And I'm also very impressed by people who are like still getting into the not still, but like getting into the medical field after like the fucking like 2 year, like the year plus that we've had and all of that. I think I also do think that's kind of going to rule out the mean girls and that kind of stuff.
Because they're going to be like, that's not for me.
That doesn't
You're a
seem
real
too
warrior.
fun.
Congratulations.
Thank
and
you.
hell yeah to good healthcare.
Yes. Yeah, hopefully.
Fuck yes. Fuck yes. Fuck yes. Congratulations. And thank you for updating us.
No problem. Thank you.
Cool. Have a good one.
You too. Bye.
Bye. We love to hear it. I cannot believe that what some of our advice was your roommates probably already know.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Who gave us that audacity? Good
She
God.
said Jocelyn said it.
She did say Jocelyn.
And that feels like something Jocelyn would do.
Yeah. And in a way that's like very like, and not like just, hey, they probably already know. And I'm like, oh.
Just like that.
Which, comfort but also, not necessarily something we would say now. Do you know what I mean? Like that's not necessarily an encouraging thing.
Your Jocelyn impression is very close to your Jennifer Aniston impression.
When do I impersonate Jennifer Aniston?
You did it one time when you were quoting something from Friends.
I mean, maybe. I don't doubt it.
They both go higher in the register when they're like,
like as points. Rachel? If she was being Rachel.
Yes.
Rachel does that.
Yes.
I mean, Jocelyn and Rachel, they've got some of that similar.
They do.
Jocelyn is a mix between Phoebe and Rachel.
Yes.
Should we get into the first call?
Let's do it.
Hey, Megan and Melissa. So I am 20 years old and I am a Sagittarius and my pronouns are she, her. So my boyfriend, or I guess ex-boyfriend, broke up with me 2 months ago and I'm still not over it. We only dated for about 2 months officially, but we were also exclusive for 4 months for the entire time that we were talking. So this was my first real relationship. I never really entered relationships, and I had told him that I love him because we have been friends for about a year and a half before we dated. And so it wasn't super hard to figure out that I loved him very quickly. I still stand by the statement. I don't think that when I said it, it was wrong or that it was out of turn. It was very much, I love you and I'm letting you know. And he broke up with me the next day because he did not feel the same way. He said that he wasn't in a place to do that or to say that, and that he's really overwhelmed by everything that is going on. I am still very upset about this, and I'm having a hard time getting over this. I also really want to be friends with him, but I also listened to the episode with Mott's where the caller called in the guy who was into this one girl. He was 18, and you guys said don't be friends with, to him, not to be friends with the girl that he was interested in, only if he thought it was going to lead somewhere. And that's where I'm at with my ex-boyfriend, is I do not think that I could be friends with him without it leading somewhere. I'm so caught up in my emotions, and it's hard to move on. And I just want your advice on how to move on from this. Because it's just, now I'm just saying the same thing over and over again, and I'm going to cry. But I just really think that he's just the most special person in the world. And it sucks that he is not in my life, you know? And I'm just having a hard time with this. And I'm probably going to ask my therapist about it in a week when we have another session. Thanks so much, you guys. All right. Bye.
Oh, you know, if it wasn't COVID, I would give you a hug. This sucks. I feel really bad because this is something that I think it's something we've all kind of gone through. And I understand his point of view of being like, oh, I don't want to continue on with this. Like, your feelings are here. My feelings aren't there. It's not fair to you to like move on and continue like this. But that's pretty like the next day after you tell someone that you love them and then they break up with you, like that's a pretty shitty thing like to do. And I think right now what you're doing, you broke up 2 months ago. I wrote this down. You broke up 2 months ago. They dated for 2 months. They were 4 months exclusive for all of that first. And then you guys were friends for like a year and a half before that. And dating your friends is really hard. And I think this is kind of the example, like this is the outcome that when people talk about it is really like what they mean, is because it is, if it doesn't work out, you are losing a friend
yeah.
as well as like a relationship. And I think it's great that you honored your feelings and you told him that. And I don't think that if there's a part of you that feels like if you hadn't said that, things would have changed or whatever, know that it wouldn't have. And I think it's shitty because you can usually tell when someone is like more into you than you are into them. And he should have just ended it before there was that verbal confirmation that it's like, hi, I'm in love with you and that. But this is one of those things that just, it sucks, but it is going to suck less and less and less. And then you're not even going to think about this guy anymore. And like, I think it's important to honor your feelings and being upset about this like breakup. But I remember every age that I've like had like a breakup or anything that like hasn't worked out with some guy, I've been so heartbroken, never going to get over any of this. And then after a while, you're like, God, I'm so glad that didn't work out.
Yeah. Agree. I don't know if it's like him like breaking it off before she said, I love you. It might have been she said it and then it kind of put things in perspective for him. And he might have seen like, this is going in a direction that I'm not ready for, or he's not ready for, or it's just not what he thought the relationship would be. And I don't think that's on you. That's not on him. It's not on anyone. But what happened is that he did break off before you guys got too deep in the relationship. So like, I would kind of count it as a blessing because you could have fallen even harder for him. And this could have happened later down the road, but it still happened pretty early in your relationship. And I know that like things right now seem like they're like really difficult and you're clearly so hurt over this. And you think that, you know, like he's a great person and he is a great person, but he might just not be that great person for you. I think you just need to take time. It's not going to be something that you can just get over. Just take time for yourself. You know, I mean, at this point, you've probably talked to your therapist about it. And they've probably given you, you know, like action plans and things to help mend your heart. Yeah.
But I do think you're spot on, don't be friends with him now because it is part of that. And I will say, and I don't mean this in like a patronizing or anything, but as somebody who has like been in love and like had really fallen for people and has it not worked out and all of that kind of stuff, that kind of romanticizing and idolizing and having those really strong feelings on your side and them not being reciprocated can feel like earth shattering. And it's like, oh, I love this person so much and they like don't love me back, blah, blah, blah. You will never, the kind of love you will feel when it is reciprocated and someone else, like that's a different level. Like it is just a different experience and a different kind of relationship. And when it's not reciprocated, like you said, it's like, think of it, try as much as you can, like honor your feelings, but also think of it as like this person let me know. It's not this person let me know that they're not on the same page as me. This person let me know that they're not my person. And it's not about you not being theirs. It's they're not your person. And once you are with the person who is right for you and you are both, those feelings are reciprocated, it is a complete, like you are going to be so happy that everything else didn't work out because this is who it's supposed to be with. But it is hard. And it's definitely hard, like losing a friend too. And I went through this in my high school boyfriend and I were best. I mean, we've known each other since we were in 6th grade, but like we dated when we were in 7th grade, broke up, like ended up becoming like best friends in high school. And when we broke up, it was like a mutual breakup, but it was earth shattering because it's a friend and a breakup too. And it doesn't mean that like you can still have loved him and like, you know, think about like that fondly and like can look back on that like there, but like it is a rough thing to get over. And the biggest thing that I can say is just space and time will make, and then the next relationships you are in, you'll be like, okay, this is when it's reciprocated.
This is that thing.
Yeah. This is the thing that was missing. And I'm so glad that like I didn't stay with the other thing because now I know that this is out there. But it's hard because like that only happens a handful of times. And so it is kind of waiting for that and like holding out hope for like that time that will eventually come and knowing that it will. But it's definitely a process. And yeah. Eat some whatever you can eat. That I was gonna say ice cream, but if you can't have dairy, some dairy-free ice cream, just really like honor those like sad feelings and all of that, and then make a game plan with your therapist also on this kind of separation and space to move on from this. And I think after a while, you might realize you don't even necessarily really want to be his friend so badly. You know, that was the thing that I was like all upset about. And then I was like, I don't want to be your fucking friend.
Yeah, because it might have been like the friendship was building upon romantic feelings. That it was. And then you romanticize what that friendship would be if you guys were together and then you got together. And
exactly. That was what mine was. Yeah. Totally. Sending you a virtual hug, and it's fucking rough. I do recommend watching the Twilight movies. That was like my repeat. Anytime I'm upset, I love them. Should I go on to the next?
Hi, Megan and Melissa. I'm a 24-year-old Libra with a lot of Pisces in my chart, and my boyfriend is an Aquarius. We've been together for 3.5 years and have lived together for the past 1.5 years. A few months in our relationship, he casually proposed to me, like not with a ring or anything, but told me that he wanted to spend the rest of his life with me and that he wanted me to be his wife. But I told him that because it was so early in our relationship and I had just turned 21, that I loved him and wanted those things too, but I wanted to wait and see where our relationship would go. So now 3 years later, we've been talking about marriage and starting a family. He says that he's even shown his mom the ring that he wants to get me. Lately, though, when I brought it up and asked about timing of when he thinks he'll propose, he says he doesn't know if he believes in marriage anymore. He says, why do I need a ring and a piece of paper from the government to prove my love and loyalty to you? And he doesn't have any like examples of successful marriages in his life. He's by a single mom, and his grandparents were divorced. None of his aunts and uncles are married, and they all have kids.
As a podcast network, our first priority has always been audio and the stories we're able to share with you. But at Realm, we also sell some pretty cool merch, and organizing that was made both possible and easy with Shopify. When you think about successful businesses like Aloe or Allbirds or Skims, an often overlooked secret is the business behind the business that makes selling and, for shoppers, buying simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. That's because nobody does selling better than Shopify. It's the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret secret that's definitely worth talking about is that Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%. That's more happy customers and way more sales going. If you're hoping to grow your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more, sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout we use with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/realm.
So to him, it's like, why don't you just start a family? Because that's what everybody in his life did. But for me, I'm very traditional. I love, I want to have a wedding. I want to be married to him. I want to be his wife. And I want to be married before we start having kids. And so he and I both know that, like, we're the person that we want to spend the rest of each other's lives with. But we just don't know what that's going to look like moving forward. And I kind of feel, a little blindsided by it because I put 3.5 years into this. I'm thinking that it was all leading towards a marriage. And now 3.5 years later, he's saying that that's not what he wants, but that he wants to just like be together forever and just start a family together, but that we don't need to get married. So I just need some advice on how to talk to him about this and how to move forward and how to make our relationship work moving forward. Anyway, thank you guys so much. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
This is so hard because there's one of two options. He's throwing you off of his scent and he's going to propose, or he doesn't want to get married and he's like being like, that is just honest. And I don't want to get your hopes up and be like, maybe he's going to propose. Like, maybe this is him throwing off the scent. I mean, I fucking hope that's what this is, because I think 3.5 years into a relationship where like you have talked about like wanting to get married eventually, to kind of just completely switch your tune and not in like a, hey, let's have a sit down conversation. Like, I have realized that I now don't want to get married if this is something that like you are okay with, like, but like, do you know what I mean? Like, it needs to be like, if marriage is a deal breaker kind of conversation. And so if he's not bringing it up in that kind of space, that's odd to me.
Yeah, I agree. I would, have a conversation with him, sit him down and be like, hey, 3 years ago, you were ready to get married. Just tell me what has changed. Let's just have a conversation and talk this out. Because there might be like, just like something specific that happened and it changed his thoughts on marriage. But if you don't know what that is, that's just unfair to you.
I'm curious where you are at when he started talking like this. Mm-hmm. Because if this has been 3 weeks, I would give it a couple months, because you might then end up ruining. He's trying to throw you off his tracks for proposal. And if you have a sit down talk, you have to figure out, are you okay potentially spoiling this for you
okay,
if it is a proposal?
I think it's like, I want to get married. And I don't want to waste my time. Like, I need to know if you're going to propose, just let me know. I don't want to be thrown off. I just want to know that I'm not wasting my time, because this is what I want. Like, I want to be married to you. So this proposal can be a surprise. Like, I don't need to know when that's happening, but like, are your intentions towards, because that's a major conversation. Like, are your real intentions for marriage actually that you do not want to get married anymore? That's not something that you should be playing around with.
No. And I think there's also this idea that you need to throw someone off. This happened with one of Motz's friends. He like was really trying to throw his like girlfriend off the scent. And I finally like talked to him. I was like, hey, I'm just going to like let you know, like, she doesn't really care. So like, you're trying to like throw her off so she'll be like super surprised. And I'm like, she doesn't really care that much about getting married. So like, you need to like check yourself before you get to a level of like, you're trying to surprise her so much that you then just become a massive asshole because you're not getting that kind of reaction.
You're pushing her away.
Yeah. Like you're not getting that kind of like, what reaction out of her? Because like marriage isn't like, she's down to marry you, but like marriage isn't something that she really cares that much about. And so like, just fucking do it. And like, she'll be surprised and excited, but like, you don't need to keep like pushing this kind of like throwing her off the scent. Because it's
like the proposal should be the surprise, not the marriage. Like not like knowing about the marriage itself.
I don't think you should ever be surprised that you're gonna get married. Like to that person who you're in a relationship with. Like that to me, I'm like, you should have those conversations. Like, so because you need to have that sit down talk and like you said, say all of that. It's like if this is like you trying to throw me off the scent that you are gonna propose, like I'm just letting you know now that like this is not. I'm not enjoying this. And like, this is,
I'm being hurt in the process of this.
And if it's not, and if this is something you really like have changed your mind on, like we need to have a conversation as to why, because like, I would like, this is important to me and this is a deal breaker for me. So like, let's figure this out. I just don't know. And so I would lose my mind if Mott's did that.
Yeah.
So, the saying that like, hey, let's start a family first and all of that, like, your priorities can change. Like that can change as you get older and something. And like Mats and I have talked about that where we don't want a kid like now or whatever. But, like we've talked about like the timing of things like, oh, we want to like get engaged or get married before we have kids or after and all of that. Like, and those kind of things do change, but like they are conversations you have with your partner. So like I would understand if he's like, I don't want to like maybe we have kids first. Like I was thinking about that, but then that becomes like a, what do you think? Not like, this is what I'm going to like, there are two parties in this. So If he's trying to throw you off the scent, like both of these instances, I'm annoyed with him. Like, I mean, I'm like, come on. No one needs that emotional turmoil if it's just to try and have like a surprise.
Yeah, I don't think it's cool at all.
No, me neither. And if it's not that, then it's also just like, that's not cool to kind of consider your like, not treat this as serious as a conversation as it is. That's like, no, it's no regards for your feelings on either. You know? Well, let us know what happens, please. Because I'm very curious what his, and if he proposes, please send us like the picture or the video and we can yell at him for putting you through this. Okay, we are going to take a quick break and we will be right back. Hello, we are back from our break and it's time to get into the rest of the calls.
Hi, Megan and Melissa. I am 19 and I'm an Aquarius. My pronouns are she, her. I am a freshman in college, and at my university, we do have in-person classes with social distancing and masking. I just wanted to clarify that for the story because it will kind of make sense a little bit later. I am an art major, and my drawing class in the fall, I started getting to know this guy who sat right across from me. And this semester, we have another class together and also sit right across from each other. They're like art desks. So we basically are like, sharing a desk, but obviously very far away, like 6 feet at least. So last semester, we kind of were like snapping and talking a lot, and I started having feelings for him, but I didn't really want to recognize them because I think that I thought he was kind of too good for me. He's like so kind and sweet. And I think I just really thought that he was too nice for me. We did go to lunch one time, but I think it was a date, but he didn't really clarify, and we haven't really hung out outside of our art class, which are 2 hours long, and we're working, so we pretty much just are able to talk the entire time. The problem is that about a month ago, one of my friends who was still in a year-long relationship at the time told me that she thought this friend was really cute and kind of liked him. She said it very nonchalantly and almost jokingly, which I was immediately like a little bit thrown off by because she was in a very monogamous relationship at the time. the time that I witnessed that relationship, she was like really mean, and like I'm not over exaggerating that. She was like gaslighting him and manipulating them the whole time that I was seeing them together, which is like really sad because he was also just a really sweet and quiet guy. Well, she broke up with that boyfriend and is now dating my guy friend, who is also one of the sweetest and kindest people I've ever met. And I guess want to hear your thoughts on that and what I should do. Thank you guys so much. Love the podcast.
My thoughts are,
why are you friends with her?
but like, did she know that you liked him?
Oh yeah.
Because if she didn't know, then like you didn't mention that to us. So that's all I can, go off of. If she didn't know that you liked him, then that's not, he didn't know that you liked him because you weren't forthcoming with his feelings. So with your feelings. So if they got together, then, neither of them are at fault for this.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that, I think that you think she's a shitty person.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know why you're friends with her. And I think like to decode this, I think a part of you wants to like warn him or like tell, you know what I mean? But like, this is what we talk about with like ulterior motives in this. It's like you have feelings for him and she's toxic. She's like a shitty person in relationships, and that like you should tell him that and like warn him, but you have something to gain in this, and it's because you like him. And I'm not discrediting and saying that she's like not like a shitty person, but I will say, why have you had conversations with her about that? Like, if I saw one of my friends was just like treating, like was emotionally abusive to their partner and all of that, I'd be like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you're like, what the fuck? Like, this is awful. Like, why are you treating this person like shit? And then if there is no change and there is no like, wow, I'm going to go to therapy. You're right. I'm dealing with all of this other shit. Like, I wouldn't be friends with that person anymore. But yeah, like you said, like if they don't know, especially her, like if he like had an indication or like, and he just didn't reciprocate feelings and he didn't like outwardly like reject you and tell you that like, hey, I don't have that. But like if she didn't know what she's supposed to do, because
she can't just assume.
Yeah. And you can find people cute while you're in a relationship with someone else. And like, again, even if she like cheated on her boyfriend with him, that if she didn't know that you had feelings for him, like it has nothing to do with you. Do you know what I mean? Like as far as like from what you've told us, like you have the only connection you have is being like a mutual friend of both of them.
Yeah.
So if she was like shitty to her past partner and she is like dating this guy or whatever, unless she knows that you have feelings for him, like you're not in that story. Do you know what I mean? Like you're not really involved in it to her knowledge. And if she did know, then like fuck both of these people.
Right.
You know? Because yeah.
I think it's that easy. If she didn't know, then there's nothing you can do about it. And if she did know, then she wasn't your friend to begin with.
And this is one of those things that like you have to be explicit. It's not like, oh, well, like I think there were like lots of signs there. Like I never outwardly said it, but blah, blah, blah. But like you really have.
Yeah. You didn't know if it was a date or not. Like it could have just been after class. You guys just went and ate.
Yeah. You really have to lay out those things kind of like explicitly and like, because even if there's an indication, you might think someone's cute. It's like, my friend might like them, but like, I think he's cute. She's never said that to me. And like, so, but yeah, regardless of how this happened and what they knew, I just think that like, you have feelings for him. So you need to pull away from your friendship with him to get over him. And I don't think you like her as a person or as a friend. And she sounds kind of like a shitty person. And so I would end that friendship too.
Yep. Easy peasy. Next call?
Yes, do it. Let's do it.
Okay. Hi, Megan and Melissa. I literally have been trying to call about this forever. I'm 20 years old. I'm a Gemini, and I moved to a new city. I saw my roommate, who was a Virgo, on Facebook, and we were both new to the city. We both wanted to be friends with our roommates, at least just like, you know, have a social life, and just like actually vibe. And we FaceTime a couple of times, and I thought she was chill. And I did have a gut feeling about it, and I didn't follow it. And then we moved, and shortly I realized how it was not a good match. I felt very suffocated, and like I couldn't have my own freedom, you know, needing to tell her every single time where I was going, where I was, who I was with, what I was doing, just like that kind of stuff that I don't even do with my partner or my family, honestly. And just like very controlling behavior that was making me feel really, I don't know, just bad. And then I was like going back and forth on if I should move or not. You know, being together for a month, I just felt like all my mental energy was consumed. I was not passive. Like, I tried saying, hey, like, you know, please, like, I feel suffocated when you communicate in that way. Like, you know, a couple of times being like, I need to be able to feel like I can go out on my own and like be my own person. So I definitely was not passive. But now I decided to move. The studio does not have as much natural lighting because studios are expensive. Anyways, did I make a mistake? I'm going to move to a new city and now living by myself. I've made a few friends, but I'm scared. Was I too abrupt? When do you know that you have to move and leave a roommate behind? I don't know. Help. I'm sorry if that was confusing. Bye.
And you're talking to serial ghosters.
Yeah, I think you did the right thing. If it doesn't feel right in your gut, then you went with your gut, and I feel like you're going to be happier down the road. It might feel like a little nerve-wracking right now, like you might have like hurt somebody, but you have to do what's best for you at the end of the day. If you didn't think it was the right situation to be in, you're not going to be in that, and now you're happy with where you are. So do you.
And doing the best thing for you in a situation is inherently doing the best thing for the other person too.
Yeah.
Like they just don't know it. And like you not wanting to be her roommate and it not working out, you weren't going to be a good roommate to her.
Mm-hmm.
And just
you
because
would have been resenting her the whole time.
Yeah. And like you've heard that we've had so many fucking calls about like horrible roommate situations and all of that kind of stuff. And my like biggest regret with my college stuff was not leaving sooner and like not getting out sooner. And like, I'm so fucking, and I had so many people be like, stick it out. Like, come on. I'm like, so fucking glad I didn't stick it out. Like, I wish I'd fucking done all of that sooner. And I think roommate stuff is hard and like you're young and this is like that. It sounds like the first instance you've kind of had with that, but roommate drama will, for the entire duration of having roommates, there's always like new things are going to arise. There's always going to be something like it's like dating. It's like you have to find that right match. And it sucks because it's like getting married. It's like married at first sight and then having to get divorced. But that's what being a roommate is. It's like, okay, like you have to sign a fucking contract, move in together. And then we realize, oh shit, this isn't working. So I think we have to jump through more hoops to get there. But if you just take away like that roommate relationship and think of it like as a friendship or dating or anything like that, it's completely normal that after X amount of time, you would realize, hey, we don't exactly mesh. And I think like we can feel a little bit more responsible when there are like contracts involved and like it is more of like your like living situation, your life and all of that. But at the end of the day, like those, you have to, yeah, like you said, you have to put yourself first and it ends up putting her first too. Mm-hmm. But I wouldn't worry about it. Nah. I think there is something hard about like that balance of finding a new roommate of like making sure they're not a serial killer, but then also not becoming like close friends with someone before you've met them and lived with them. And then there is this like, they feel this kind of expectation or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very hard thing to deal with. But she said she's living alone. She's going to live alone now, right?
In the studio, lots of bright light. You're going to be doing just fine.
I think everybody who has the financial ability to live alone at some point totally should.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a very great
I 100% agree.
You learn so much about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I learn more about myself living alone than like being single. Granted, I lived alone while being single, so I guess I actually can't make that claim.
Can't make that correlation, but
no.
I will say that it's great not having to depend on other people.
Yeah. It's fucking awesome. Well, you have our seal of approval.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, again, we ghost, so. So Don't Blame Them is our segment where we have listeners call in with advice for previous episodes. They've heard them. They're like, hey, we have personal experience, or they agree, or they've got like a different sort of insight to just give another perspective or the same perspective. And they just tell us we're doing amazing.
So this is from season 7, episode 17. And in the original call, the caller was her roommates were like jealous that, she thought that they might be jealous that they were, she was spending so much time with her boyfriend.
Hey, Megan and Melissa. I use she, her pronouns, and I am calling in response to a Don't Blame Them for season 7, episode 17, about the girl who has roommates who are really pissed off with her for seeing her boyfriend so much. So I guess I have a few opening questions. One, when the girl was
Thursday Night Football is on, and it's only on Prime Video. Breaking tackles. This week, the Minnesota Vikings head west to take on the Los Angeles Rams.
This is what you love to see.
Coverage begins at 7 p.m. Eastern with football's best party on TNF tonight. Presented by Verizon. Not a Prime member? Sign up for a 30-day free trial to stream the game. It's the Vikings and the Rams, Thursday at 7, only on Prime Video. Restrictions apply. See Amazon.com/Amazon Prime for details.
in single, so out of the relationship, how many days was she spending with her roommates? I know that that's something that I personally struggled with an ex-friend of mine, that when I got into a relationship, instead of spending 7 days a week with her because we're best friends, we started spending like 3 to 4 days together. So then that caused a lot of resentment for her, and she ended up just being really jealous of that situation. And then my second question is, are your roommates actively wanting relationships and looking for them? Because if that is the case and they really want a relationship and they see you, kind of bouncing around throughout different relationships and it seems really easy for you, I think it's really the understanding that my mom and my therapist tell me a lot is the idea of like misery loves company. So if they are really upset that they can't find a relationship and they, it seems like you're always in one, they're probably all bonding over the fact that they're jealous of you, whether or not that's what they're explicitly saying, which is really difficult. So I really empathize with you in that situation. But to my understanding, it really doesn't sound like you're spending an awful amount of time with him or them. And honestly, I'm wondering if the main predicament in this problem is that your roommates are girls and would prefer being with their friends, because they don't have partners. Or if maybe you're just a relationship girl, which doesn't mean that you're not a girl's girl necessarily. It just means that if it came down to spending time with your boyfriend or your girlfriend, you would spend time with your boyfriend, which I don't necessarily think is a bad thing, but I think that you and your friends are just having some predicaments there. Also, if you're looking for permission to just not go about that friendship whenever you stop being roommates with them, by all means, do it. I think that they're just severely jealous of you and don't know how to manage their resentment probably towards you and are honestly projecting their own insecurities about not being in a relationship and or not finding a partner if that is what they are seeking out. Okay, I hope that helps. Bye-bye.
I disagree with everything, but you know
that's her opinion.
Your opinion.
Mm-hmm.
That's my opinion. See, I know some Real Housewives quotes. I'm just going to say, just to have like, because like your opinion is your opinion, but because we don't have the original call in here, I want to like offer again my side of it, because like I think people will agree with both sides. I personally, as someone in a long-term relationship, I really don't believe in the idea that people, single people's like dream and like everything is revolved around wanting to be in a relationship, and like that's like a jealousy kind of thing. Like I really hate that narrative, because I don't buy it. Like as somebody who's had issues with friends who've been in relationships, my issue was never, oh, I'm jealous of you, I want to be in a relationship. It's like, you're being a shitty friend. I don't give it like.
Yeah, I'm single. I do want to be in a relationship now. And I am genuinely happy for my friends that are in relationships, that are in nice, healthy relationships that, add to their happiness, not take away from everyone else's happiness.
Yeah, I just like toxic people are toxic, but like being single doesn't make you toxic or do shitty things or anything like that. And yeah, I just don't.
They might be shitty people.
Exactly.
Like, we
they
don't
might be
know
shitty
that.
people.
They might just be shitty people, but that doesn't mean that they're shitty because she's in a relationship. They just might be shitty people, period.
Yeah, they just showed their true colors and like turns out they're shitty. Like, and I just don't like that of like, I don't know. I also just don't really like this person's jealous of me as like a reason for anything in general. I just, because it's not constructive or helpful to either party. And like, even if people like talk about like hate online, like, oh, they're just jealous. I'm like, no, that's not helpful to me. What's helpful to me is like, oh, this person's probably going through a lot of stuff and they don't know how to like deal with their own emotions. And so they're projecting. But like that whole jealousy thing, I think it just kind of buys into this like heteronormative, like nuclear family, like getting married, white picket fence, like that kind of thing, which is just super dated and, fairy princess, like we should that like relationship stuff. And then also if you are choosing to hang out with your partner over your friends every time, you need better friends. That to me is not just like a personality trait. Like, oh, I prefer hanging out with my partner. I'm more of like a boyfriend, like girlfriend kind of person than a friend person. That's just, you don't have the right friends.
Yeah.
Like, and being a girl's girl and all of that kind of stuff, like, is something that like we as women should all aspire to be. And like not being a girl's girl is like.
My dad works in B2B marketing. He came by my school for career day and said he was a big ROAS man. Then he told everyone how much he loved calculating his return on ad spend. My friends still laugh at me to this day.
Not everyone gets B2B, but with LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach people who do. Get a $100 credit on your next ad campaign. Go to linkedin.com/campaign to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be. I'm
not like other girls, that kind of narrative of like internalized misogyny of the patriarchy telling us that like women aren't cool and like we shouldn't want to be friends with other women. And like that whole reason is because when women band together, like that, like not to make it like super political, but it's like when you see what happens when women get together and people get like the Me Too movement, all of this kind of stuff. Like there's a reason why like the patriarchy has made women feel shitty about themselves for so long. It's because they don't want women to like, Captain Marvel, don't want you to tap into your own fucking power. So I'm glad that the caller caught herself and was like, you can be both and all of that, but you can like be like a girl's girl and be in a relationship. Those things aren't mutually exclusive. But if you are choosing to hang out with your partner over your friends every time, you need better friends. And also you are not a good friend. So you're not going to be treated well by your friends if that's the case, because then your friends are essentially just placeholders for a relationship. And if your entire worth is resting on a relationship, like that's something to unpack.
Right.
Like you should have your own friends, your own life, and all of that. And yeah, you can be shitty people. But like you said, it's not, if they're shitty people regardless if they're single or not. That has nothing to do with it. And I still respect your opinion. I just feel like I needed to.
I think we need all sides of the story. And that's the problem.
Yeah.
We can only give advice for what we have.
Yeah. And I just don't want, like, we gave this perspective in like the original call. And this is, and we knew this was coming. Like, this is the alternate perspective. But I think if we're going to present that one, we have to still present our opinion in the other, because I think, yeah. I would really love an update from that original caller too, though. Yeah. With some more details. Well, that is it for our episode. Hope you all enjoyed. We did it. We did it. We did it. Hooray.
Dora the Explorer.
That's Dora. Yeah. Okay. If you'd like to call in for an upcoming episode, you can leave us a voicemail at 310-694-0976. And international listeners, you can send us an audio message at meghanpodcast@gmail.com. Again, let us know your pronouns. Keep it under 3 minutes. You got to be 18 or over, have your parents' permission. Write it down, practice. Melissa loves when you write it down and you're concise and clear.
Ooh.
Oh, gives
almost as good as a COVID test.
You're so fucking weird. I can't believe it. We follow us on Instagram, Don't Blom Meme Pod. Check us out on Stitcher Premium ad-free. Leave us a review on the Apple Podcast app. And videos are over on Patreon. We also do live streams twice a month for $5. And the videos are only $1 a month. So you're literally getting between 3 and 4 video versions of the podcast for only $1. And it helps us continue to do this show. And if you have listened, I don't remember what other episode it was, but will also help us, potentially expand the podcast universe. Our podcast universe, not like the podcast on podcasting as a whole, but, podcasts featuring us. So. Yeah.
You love these smooth, soothing, sexy.
Susan? Smooth.
I meant soothing, but I was going to skid over that. And you just had to call me out.
Yes, I did. Anything that you want to promote?
Just go to my Instagram. Follow my Instagram. That's what I would like you to promote. Follow me on Instagram. I just want to get to 10K so I can swipe up for episodes. That's it.
That's good. I would like people to follow me on Instagram because after I came for little people who were upset about Lil Nas,
I don't know how those people were still left, though.
I don't either. I have like a theory that like people who found me from like my hacking videos and that kind of stuff just followed. I don't know.
But they still have been around the last few months. I mean, those thoughts that you had weren't anything new that you haven't covered in the last year.
It is a really good question, but it's also what happens when you have had an Instagram account I've been on Instagram for like over 10 years, right? I think so. Yeah. So I've been on for so long. So that's also just a bunch of old accounts that essentially they just deactivate. Like when you've been around for a long time, you will naturally lose followers. So I need to book like a CW show to like boost me back up. Or you can follow me. If you want to follow me on your regular account and your Finsta.
Yeah.
I appreciate
it. Mute me. You can follow and mute me. I don't care. I just want to be able to swipe up for
it is helpful.
Show. Yeah.
Buy my book, buy my presets, and wear a mask. Get vaccinated if you can. And
have a blessed day.
Don't Blame Me is a production by me, executive produced by Melissa DeMonts, edited by Katrina Henning, and music by Ryan Hunter and Giacomo Picasso.
Listening to a podcast should be time well spent, and I promise it will be if you'll give this podcast a try. It's called Something You Should Know. I'm the host, Mike Carruthers, and in every episode, I talk with leading experts on topics I know you will find fascinating. From why people can't keep secrets, what your favorite music says about you, why your pet acts in strange ways, and so much more. Something You Should Know is designed to give you information you can use in your life and give you great intel that you can share with others. I'm told it's a binge-worthy podcast. And with over 1,000 episodes, there's a lot to binge on. Something You Should Know has been ranked in the top of the Apple Podcast charts consistently for a long time. I know you're going to like this. I just need to get you to try it. Something You Should Know. It's available wherever you listen to podcasts.
Hi, I'm Jennifer, a co-founder of the Go Kid Go Network. At Go Kid Go, putting kids first is at the heart of every show that we produce. That's why we're so excited to introduce a brand new show to our network called The Search for the Silver Lining, a fantasy adventure series about a spirited young girl named Isla who time travels to the mythical land of Camelot. During her journey, Isla meets new friends, including King Arthur and his Knights of the Round Table, and learns valuable life lessons with every quest, sword fight, and dragon ride. Positive and uplifting stories remind us all about the importance of kindness, friendship, honesty, and positivity. Join me and an all-star cast of actors including Liam Neeson, Emily Blunt, Kristen Bell, Chris Hemsworth, among many others, in welcoming the Search for the Silver Lining podcast to the Go Kid Go Network by listening today. Look for the Search for the Silver Lining on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts.